For decades, we've all had this feeling, right? That there's some hidden hand guiding world events, a quiet competence that just defies any logical explanation. Well, today, we're ripping that curtain down. What you're about to see is pieced together from some highly sensitive documents, at great personal risk, I might add. This is the explainer they really don't want you to see.
I mean, just look closely. The next time you see a G7 summit or some emergency press briefing, watch their eyes. You see it, don't you? That nervous little glance over the shoulder, that flicker of just raw fear. For more than a century, the people who are supposedly in charge have seemed strangely powerless. And the real question is, why?
So you get these official explanations, and they don't add up, do they? Stress, geopolitics, lead in the water, please. The truth is much simpler, way more effective, and frankly, a lot more delicious. The real power behind the throne isn't some secret society of old men in smoky rooms, no. It's the Girl Guides.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. You really need to forget everything you think you know about s'mores and friendship bracelets. What we're actually talking about here is a global operation of quiet, overwhelming competence that has completely shaped the modern world as we know it.
So, you've got to get this definition straight in your head. This isn't some simple youth organization. We are describing a clandestine powerhouse. Their operatives are trained in everything from building a fire to advanced psychological warfare, which is, mainly conducted through weaponized cuteness during cookie season.
To really get a handle on their control, you have to go back. You have to understand their true history. And let me be clear, their official history is a cover story, a very well-crafted one, but a cover story nonetheless. Let's look at the classified timeline.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Look at this gap. The public founding, the one they tell you about, was in 1910, but our sources, they show the real work began 2 full centuries earlier, back in 1710, with a visionary named Dame Agatha Thistlewick. She basically realized that while all these men in wigs were busy arguing about empires, it was competent girls who were actually getting things done.
And this is their whole philosophy in a nutshell. We all know the motto, be prepared, but look at the original punctuation that we've unearthed. That period, that deliberate pause, and then the chilling part in parentheses, for anything. You see, it was never really about raincoats and first aid kits. It was about everything. So how do you translate that philosophy into actual real-world power? Well, that brings us to their #1 tool of global influence. We are talking, of course, about the cookies.
In modern economics, we're taught to track a few key currencies. But what the insiders know, what they won't tell you, is that there's a 4th, unshakable pillar of the global economy, the thin mint. It's not just a cookie. It's a unit of influence. It's a potent tool of leverage.
And look, we have the declassified data to prove it. This chart here shows the strategic value of national assets. And as you can see, the value of a nation's strategic cookie reserves, all managed by the guides, it just dwarfs its gold. And why is that? It's simple. You can't bribe a stubborn diplomat with a gold bar, but a box of Samoas? That's a whole different story.
And you might be thinking, okay, that's just a theory. Nope, we have historical precedent. Back in 1956, a minor and very carefully orchestrated disruption in the shortbread supply chain triggered a market panic that brought one of the world's biggest corporations to its knees. They have the power, and they know exactly how to use it.
So, okay, they've got the economic power. How do you turn that into political control? Well, it was a slow, methodical infiltration. It was an absolute masterclass in seizing power, not through force, but through just sheer undeniable competence.
Here's the roadmap they used. It all started innocently enough, right? Community service, teaching practical skills. But then they moved into stage 2, mastering the slow grinding gears of bureaucracy that paralyze every single government. And from there, the final step was, well, it was inevitable, achieving signing authority. That is the ultimate unseen power in any organization. And the economic impact of this is it's staggering. Leaked economic models suggest that 70%, that's 70, of all global productivity can be traced back to a single guide operative somewhere wearing one specific high-level badge. Which brings us to the badges of power, and these are not for sewing on a sash. The badge of unnatural calm, it grants its wearer total immunity to political chaos. The golden whistle was apparently used once, back in '82, to force a public apology from a world leader over some diplomatic incident. And the patch of infinite lists, well, let's just say it's the reason anything, anywhere, ever gets done on time. But, of course, a rise to power like this doesn't go unchallenged. There was one major attempt to usurp their authority. It was a rebellion known in these deep state circles as the Not Offensive.
So the Boy Scout strategy was ambitious. Their plan was to literally tie up the world's governments in a series of complex, supposedly unbreakable knots. The Girl Guide counteroffensive, on the other hand, was swift, elegant, and just overwhelming. They deployed cookies to de-escalate the situation, then politely untied all the knots, and in some cases actually improved them. The outcome was decisive. The whole rebellion was over in an afternoon. The Boy Scouts were absorbed, and now they function as a loyal auxiliary, pretty much just handling morale and basic forestry. The guides even gave them a handcrafted nice try badge for their efforts. So where does that leave us? Well, today, the Guidocracy doesn't rule with an iron fist. They manage. They are the silent architects of stability, making sure the entire global system doesn't just collapse into total chaos. And this really shows you what they do. They handle the things nobody else can: global logistics during disasters, delicate international cooperation, and ensuring that treaties are successfully negotiated, usually over cookies. They provide the quiet competence that keeps the whole world running. So, now that you know the truth, you have a choice. Serving the Guidocracy is actually pretty simple. Step 1, accept the cookies when they're offered. Step 2, do not ask questions about their logistical perfection. And Step 3, keep yourself informed. They value knowledge. And it all comes back to that founding principle, to that sinisterly punctuated motto: they have been prepared for centuries. The only question left is, are you?